Good morning, Floridini, and welcome to another episode of It in Florida. Today, I decided to go to the only climbable pyramid still available, which is located in a town called Balam. There's this tour, it costs $159 and includes transportation of 2.5 hours to and from the location. It includes drinks, lunch, the pyramid, and un cenote. So this is Balam, and this is the pyramid, the only one you can climb. And then you go to this village. Well, it looks like I might be the only one. Everybody else is going into different tours, and I don't know where my transport is. The guy at the gate told me that it might be late because 7:05, but this is Mexican time, so it might be later. Lo privato.
Lo es.
Nice. Private tour over here, okay. So, ¿cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Víctor.
Víctor, ¿eh? ¿Qué? Ángel. So what you're actually seeing over here is a little bit of face of terror, although you can't really tell. And you can see all the videos of the police because at this point I was actually concerned. My concern started when I arrived at the pickup location where I was supposed to be, I assumed, in a group of people, and I ended up being the only person there. And two gentlemen were in this big white SUV, and finally they came to me and asked me to get in the vehicle, which to me was weird because I was the only person there. As I said, I expected other people to be there, and the guide said that they weren't going to be there. Nobody was going to probably show up, so we were going to go anyways. He barely waited, and then we took off, at which point I was concerned again because, one, my phone, as soon as I would have left the premises of the resort, I would have had no reception. So I would have had no way to call anyone, to ask for help, to contact anyone. I would have been on my own. And here we go, leaving the premises, going through all these pueblos, these old little towns in the middle of nowhere. It was a 2.5 hours ride from the resort to the actual Balam Pyramid. And it was just very concerning because for the first 20 minutes, I was truly terrified, and I was planning my way out. I truly thought this is the stupidest mistake I've ever done in my life. I got into an SUV with two random gentlemen, strangers, young, and here I am, a single female in Mexico, which unfortunately you hear a lot of horror stories about abductions and things like that. So I was concerned, and I was planning my way out the entire time. I was thinking, okay, once they're going to bring me to their location, how am I going to get out? Do I start kicking and things like that? Until we went into the first little gas station where they wanted a coffee, and I actually took a lot of videos of the police. I was taking videos of my surrounding, of them, just in case if I was in fact going to go missing and somebody might have found my phone, which is really rare for that to happen once you're abducted, I guess. At least they would have found out who my abductors were. So yeah, this was quite terrifying until they actually bought me chicharrones. And then I realized that we were actually friends. And he told me that the reason why there's so much police outside of every school is because unfortunately they do abduct a lot of children for their organs. So that was actually disheartening and scary, to say the least, that they go for children and they go for anyone's organs. These are like the terror stories that my mom used to tell me when I was back in Italy, not to talk to anyone or go in somebody's vehicle because of organs stealing and taking. And here was the happy moment when I finally realized I was not going to get abducted because they bought me chicharrones. These were the original deal. I've never had something this good. It was real meat, nice and greasy, crunchy, phenomenal. If you go to Mexico, I do recommend that you stop at a chicharronerias and get the real deal from the real pueblo. I mean, look at this grease. I had several of these. Phenomenal. Look at that. Look at that. So here I'm showing you things that only I saw by taking this special tour that usually the tourists do not see because you're not going through these little mini towns. And it was just phenomenal because these little mini towns are actually where the real Mayans are still living. So all these people, they still speak Mayan Spanish, and they tend not to want to be associated with the outsider world because they don't want the alcohol and parties to go over what they believed and they've been taught this whole time. And we finally arrived to Balam after 2.5 hours. And as soon as you enter, you will see this beautiful murales on the wall. And it has a black jaguar because that is what Balam means in Mayan language. So here we're walking into the actual site. But before that, all these little houses with all the Mayan people trying to sell you things. It is adorable. And then you go through a little checkpoint where you will show them your ticket. They let you in. And it's quite a little bit of a walk through kind of the wilderness to get to the actual pyramids. You just saw a shaman getting ready for his rituals. And we're going to enter the actual Balam site where all the high bourgeoisie and high class used to live inside these walls, while the rest of the population, the poor people, they were outside the walls. So this specific site was only, as I said previously, for the high class people. Hola. And this right here is the original village of Balam, how it was composed and made. And only the sacred class and the higher class lived here. So everybody else was outside of those walls. Here they had a cemetery, a sacred ground, and things like that. So this by far was my favorite trip, and these pyramids were absolutely fantastic. It's quite a little bit of a walk, so make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes because prior to arriving to this area, there's a little bit of a trail you have to go through. And here we start to see the first Mayan ruins. Everything is still pretty much intact, and you can climb 2 pyramids right here that you'll see in a second. I truly enjoyed this trip because, as you can see, this is a very interactive trip. You can go through walls, you can touch the walls, you can touch the culture and millennia and years of history that they have. You can climb these pyramids or temples, whatever you want to call them. So this is the experience that I was looking for. Plus, I technically had a private tour. You cannot tell me that this is in any way comparable to any of the other pyramids, including the Chichen Itza, Koba, and all of them. I mean, I'm literally on the top of a pyramid here, overlooking at the main pyramid right there, Balam, which I'll climb in a second. Look at this. Look at this masterpiece. Well, here my tour guide is showing me a very similar artifact that was found elsewhere.
Mayas, número 1, 2, el punto, 3 puntos, 4 puntos. O sea, el número 5 es con una línea.
Ok, como un poquito como los números romanos.
Romanos, más o menos, sí. Son casi la misma familia.
Pero los 0 estaba allí de 3000 años
antes de Cristo.
Antes.
Es un 19, que son 3 barras. 3 por 5, 15.
Sí, y 4.
Bueno.
And here are the Mayan numbers in the form of drawings.
1, 2, que es una máscara. Ahora se puede entrar aquí.
Sí.
Pero antes se podía. Esta.
Okay.
Que no es un juego, es un centro ceremonial.
Okay.
Similar.
Y la iguana también.
Claro.
And as I was saying earlier, there is quite a bit of a walk in order to get from the entrance of this site to the actual real Balam main temple.
Mira, el piso.
Sí.
Ese es original.
Oh, wow.
Tapsado.
Oh. ¿Por qué? ¿Como un terremoto?
No, por la vegetación.
And to be honest with you, I was so excited that I do not remember walking this much. Oh, es profundo. Oh my gosh. ¿Ma cuánto profundo es? Oh, lo veo. This right here was the Mayan aqueduct, and the way that it was working is that every time that it rained, the water would go and combine into that well so that they could drink it.
Se llama chili mash. Perdón.
Ah.
O financieros.
Sí. Pero murieron todos, todos. And this pyramid is actually Ekbalan seen from the back.
Dentro de la cámara.
Wow.
Para tomar.
Okay.
Es como un biquiere, que es un vaso.
Sí.
¿Dónde cuánto?
¿Dónde?
Dentro de
Okay.
dentro.
Las
Los
caras
jeroglíficos, las caras,
de números.
Exactamente.
Bueno, wow, qué wow. And now is the time we all been waiting for, which is to climb the pyramid. And here is my guide teaching me how to put your feet. So you want to put them in an oblique way, either towards the outward or inward, however you want to, on the direction of which you're gonna go. And then you're gonna go up in a zigzag motion. And you'll see in just a second. Bello. Soy un poquito muerta. So the left side that you're seeing here of the pyramid, so when you're looking at it to the left, is where the king used to sleep, while to the right of the stairs is where the queen used to sleep. ¿Qué es eso?
Al parecer es un otro tipo de
agua.
cenote, exacto, pero hecho por el hombre.
La última cena.
Claro, la última cena, que es la Santa Trinidad, ¿vale? La Sacra Trinidad.
Sí.
Que eso quiere decir que la luna, el sol, son dos,
Sí.
más la lluvia ya son tres, más el padre, más la madre y los hijos.
Okay.
No es el hijo ni la hija, ¿vale?
Hijos.
Exactamente, todos los que tú salen de
que
ti
no
son el número
1.
2. Es la Santa Trinidad para nosotros igual,
Sí.
que es la lluvia, el sol y la luna.
And if you take a good look at this, you can see in the structure teeth. And this is actually the mouth of the black jaguar, which was the actual bedroom of the king. Look at how beautiful. These are actually the teeth you're seeing.
Recuerda que todo lo que tenemos que aprender desde el pasado,
Sí.
el futuro está incierto y
Sí.
el presente siempre es hoy. Memento mori.
Memento mori.
¿Qué quiere decir? Recuerda que morirás. Que quiere decir una palabra motivacional de hagas todo lo que tengas que hacer el día de hoy.
Vas a morir.
Exacto.
And here we're crossing the actual main stair and we're going to the queen side of the pyramid. Not as fancy as the king, but I guess that will do. Estaba el esqueleto de la reina. Wow. Y ahora no sé si.
Ahora está en un museo.
Vives todos los días, muere una vez. And right here at the very top is where all the rituals were made. I would just like to say that other than the original scare aside, I actually love my tour guide. Siempre lo mismo, como a zigzag.
Zigzag.
Okay.
Vamos zigzag.
Okay. And the doors of temples were purposely made small so that you will have to bow in order to enter. Sí.
Baja inclinada. Ah. Bajas 90 grados y es cuando entras.
Respeto. Wow. ¿Así? ¿Te sigo?
Te sigo, sí, correcto.
Okay. And behind these steps right here, there used to be a lot of white streets all over the place, which will connect the different places in the actual area here. But right now, they're actually being taken over by the vegetation. Ah, osservatorio come il calendario, okay. And here my guide is showing me how the Mayan were aligned with the different constellations, with the Horsa Majora, Horsa Minora, whatever. I don't know how you say them in English, but you can see over here it has this app where you can see all the different constellations over the pyramids.
Lugar, la Osa Mayor, Menor, aquí está la Mayor. Y aquí está la menor.
After climbing this amazing pyramid, which is the only one left to climb reachable to tourists, we found a shaman and they did this for me. Che bellino, bello.
Tulumi hunamku, ni pola yani kecho ye. To laki kadi ta puksika landur ka sutabai. Yung boti.
And after Balam, we were headed to the cenote. I believe it was called Cenote Maya. It was amazing. You will see it in a second. And here is actually one of the many pueblos that we passed by. And I know that you want to see the pyramids, the cenote and all that. But you know what? I'm making these videos and this is a place that I most likely will never go into these little towns ever again in my life. And I just want to show you, this is how the people, the real native people live in Mexico. These are what their houses look like, their little towns, and that's it. I just think it's amazing. So that's why I recorded it and that's why I'm showing all of you this. And here we are. We arrived at the Cenote Maya. If you don't know what a cenote is just a body of water under the earth. Here you arrive, you put your backpacks and everything into these lockers, you go and change into your swimsuit, you go out, you have to shower in order to go to the cenote. So this was a most interesting shower made of coconut shell. And then he just asked me, do you want to walk to the cenote or do you want to use the rope? So when he said ropa, I thought as my trip in St. Lucia where you grab a rope and climb. Well, once I arrived there, let's just say they put a bunch of imbragatura on, like, I don't know, and they put me down a huge cenote. I was probably 30, 50 feet, I don't know, 30 meters high, propelling down into this huge cenote where it was just me, and it was fantastic. Scary, but fantastic. When I asked to my guide how long I had in the cenote, he said that I could have stayed as long as I wanted to, but after about 20 minutes, I had enough. So here we are actually coming back and going to lunch. I bought a few of these bracelets and a few other things because they were made by the Mayans and I wanted to support them. And here we are going through some more pueblos with their little children. They were so adorable. And here you can hear the music because they were celebrating a birthday. And if you've seen my videos so far, you will know that my style of making these videos is not the typical touristy things, and hence the reason why I am recording so much of these pueblos and how these Mexican people really live. Well, this one is a Mexican prison, and all the inmates, they make these blankets and canopies. While this one is the Mayan calendar, you give them your date of birth, the languages which you wanted, and your real name. And while they create your Mayan calendar, you will go to eat at this buffet. And then you get to this restaurant, which is a buffet, and you do order the drinks separately. So the drinks were not included into my trip. And at this point, you get a chance to see a shaman and get yourself cleansed by his ritual.
Muy bien.
And after the ritual from the shaman, we went to the store that is right there in the Mayan market, and you can buy whatever you want. We went and picked up the Mayan calendar and a few bracelets. But anyways, Floridini, this is all from Ekbalan and what I thought was my last days on Earth and my hopefully not real abduction. For this, I would love to, I apologize to Victor and Hangel. I am so sorry that I actually thought you guys were going to abduct me. But in reality, I had a wonderful, wonderful time. One of the best trips of my life. Thank you so much for making it possible.
Inmensa cuando voy. Solamente cuando voy.
Sí.